So I feel a bit skeptical. I saw this yesterday. I think that's when they post this. So basically, Tower Fantasy developers, they promise that they will at least run the game for at least 10 more years. So I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but why need to say it? Like, nothing wrong in saying it, but the fact that they are saying it feels a bit that there's something going on, something fishy. There's something fishy, 10 years insane. When I tend to hear something that's too good to be true, I tend to be like, okay, something is really off here, something is really fishy. That's how my brain operates, right? If somebody call me and be like, yo, you want a free Discord Nitro? I'll be like, okay, a little bit suspicious. So it's like, why need to, if you're going to run the game, just run the game, right? Why need to make a public announcement about it? But let's see. A bit suspicious, yeah. Let's see, okay, maybe there's some context to this. Tower Fantasy developer made a follow-up note to answer the concerns of the community about the reboot 2 days before the anniversary big reveal livestream on 7/12. Okay, so this is the 7th of December, right? Stated that Tower Fantasy is set to run for another 10 plus years. Tata is coming to spoil the story. Although it will be the second anniversary in less than 10 days, and the preview live broadcast will break news in less than 2 days, Tata still can't help but spoil the follow-up plans to the pioneers. The light science fiction open world is the reason why we are able to get together. The first thing that we must talk about is the new map. Talking about the 9 regions and not talking about Kanzo is like the 3 pioneers teaming up to play Mahjong in Changeless Fang. In the follow-up version 3.6, the last state among the 4 states in the 9 regions is about to be open. Okay, this is talking about the regions. As for the long-awaited version 4.0, there will be a brand new time and space. But because the planner is covering up, we can only give a little spoiler at the moment. 4.0, the concepts of science fiction, cyberspace, and AI will be strengthened, allowing pioneers to feel the wisdom and inspiration from the AI of 2712. It is said that they have been preparing for a long time and the progress is very smooth. Tata will stay with you for at least 10 more years. Okay? In the past 2 years, our production team has also been growing and expanding healthily. Some developers even come from the pioneers and truly create something with the players. Tata has also been absorbing feedback from pioneers and continuing to iterate itself. So we secretly made a wish to accompany you for at least another 10 years. Okay, so we know that without the company and support of players in the past 2 years, it will be impossible to achieve this goal. Continuously serving current players is fundamental. Under this premise, we will continue to take the road of co-creation, continue to inject fresh vitality into Ada Star, and ensure the continued operation and development of the world. Multiple servers are open at the same time with sufficient production capacity. So after the recent release of retroactive server information, pioneers have some concerns about our production capacity and are even worried that the update content of the official server will be reduced. We guarantee that it will not happen. We already have experience in opening overseas servers, console servers, and domestic versions. The newly opened retroactive server has an independent team, which will not have any negative impact on the production capacity and continuous optimization of the official server. And some popular adjustments may be put into the official server for optimization without damaging the player experience. So basically this is talking about the new server that they plan to do, right? Regarding Tower of Fantasy, they plan to do a separate one altogether. Dragon Raja Killer. Okay. The optimization of official servers will not stop. Okay, so optimizing the official server will be our long-term goal. In addition to some basic experiences, the focus is on the weapon system. The planners of the official server have promised to talk a lot, and the summary is just a lot of knowledge. We will improve the playability of new weapons to avoid duplication of experiences. We will continue to optimize the ecology of the existing weapon pool to provide more matching options. Okay? So we will continue to strengthen the common pool weapons. Functional weapons will be introduced. Even the initial clothing of the electromagnetic blade will be optimized. We have prepared a lot of new content for the second anniversary. The testing of retroactive servers and advanced servers is about to begin. Pioneers were welcome to participate in the testing and provide valuable opinions. So Tower Fantasy's current development team has a lot of manpower. They have a lot of different departments, it seems like. And they will give both the Tower Fantasy Classic and the reboot server the same amount of love and attention and will not neglect any of them. The future is bright and the game will be running for at least 10 more years. Wow. Wow. 10 years game. Who's gonna play Tower of Fantasy for 10 years? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I think this is good news, right? They'll have to work really hard for their public to trust them. Billy comments were really negative or skeptical in that last post about remaking Tower of Fantasy, since people already poured hundreds or thousands of dollars and weapons were already power cramped, but making them totally irrelevant with a new reported server is just the worst case scenario. If the game is remake, we expect a new story, better graphics and a whole new experience. So if weapons and characters aren't transferred to the new server, old Tower of Fantasy players will probably abandon it, and new Tower of Fantasy will have to build a whole new audience. Wow. 10 years like Nikkei? Did Nikkei promise 10 years? What do you mean? There's no 10 years. Why split servers? Because they want to do Tower of Fantasy 2, right? How do you do Tower of Fantasy 2 if you don't have split servers? If they change the clunky 3D model, I may try the revamped version of Tower of Fantasy. Yeah, I might try it as well, but yeah, it's going to be confusing, right? People will come to you, yo, which Tower of Fantasy do you play? I play Tower of Fantasy 2. Then I'm like, okay, why play Tower of Fantasy 2 when you can play Wuthering Waves? But it's like, yeah, it's going to be something that's a bit confusing. Before Genshin, what is this, 10 years? 10 years, man. 10 years. People can't stop playing Tower of Fantasy because they spend a lot in the game. That's only for the whales, right? I'm sure there are some free-to-plays in that game that can stop easily. I drop it as soon as my A6 Lin I saved up for since the game release got completely power crap. Buy another A0 unit. I ended up in a situation where I arguably had an account as weak as someone who just started playing, and I was more than half a year in. No thanks, probably never coming back. I feel sorry for people who really like Tower of Fantasy and are worried about its longevity. I couldn't imagine how shitty I'd feel if they told me Genshin might not last, or if they were going to reboot everything mid-story and my characters would be useless. Genshin. Nikkei promised at least 10 to 20 years, maybe 20 on the anniversary stream. That was just a meme, come on. That's just the meme. It's not actually real. There's no promise, alright? Tower of Fantasy fans can just be as obnoxious, if not worse than Hoyo fans. Power creep is normal in gacha games, but for Tower of Fantasy, it was completely out of control. If they were going to run the game that way, they should have showered players with free pulls and currency, but Tower of Fantasy was the stingiest gacha game I've ever played, and they even gave less rewards to Global than CN. And CN was not generous. I don't think it was the stingiest gacha, I disagree with this. Was it generous? Probably not, but to call it the stingiest gacha? Come on, really? I'm sure there are some stingiest, even stingier ones, right? Pretty sure Genshin was stingier. Genshin Killer is real. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be different, right? I remember I was a dolphin, but in the endgame mood, the community phrase was just play support. Poured money on A6 Lin as well. Yeah, a lot of people poured money on those, right? This is something that I do think is going to be an issue. So I don't know, I feel like I'm not too sure why they made such a promise, because it's very dangerous, right? What if suddenly they are not, you know, their game doesn't do well in the future? That you can never predict, right? If your game will do well in the future or not. And if you don't, what, are you going to keep it on live support? Like, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot by making such an announcement, right? Or at least if you want to announce something like this, just make it like more believable, at least 5 years or something. 10 years seems a bit extreme. But then again, yeah, if they're confident enough, it's mostly for the Tower of Fantasy players. 10 years is a long time. A long time. They could certainly do a better job balancing content and power levels so that whales won't outdamage free-to-play players. PvP, is it? Back before I quit, the general sentiment among the whale player base was just play support weapons to increase my damage. Imagine how fun that is for every co-op experience. Damn, so they are not allowed to, the new players are not allowed to play support. I mean damage dealer, they have to play support. Anthem has a 10-year plan. I also have a plan for world domination, just have some bugs to fix. Huh. If you check CN Bilibili comments on that post, you will see that no CN player buys into the 10 years promise. Why? Damn! Why is his name Majestic Doom Poster though? Okay. Hota promised before that they will deal with power creep before. Game turned into worse power creep wise than before, as double elemental weapons force you to roll twice as much. Hota promised that they won't sell pets gachapon pools for dark crystals or tanium. See first comment in the video, only to release new pet gachapon currency and sell it exclusively for dark crystals. It's pretty obvious that the 10-year support promise is done because they are scared of whales literally over the past announcement, and it doesn't help that they keep ignoring the most important CN players question: can they transfer their accounts to the reboot version? Like, obviously they can't. I don't think, if they can transfer their account to the reboot version, why make a reboot version, right? Obviously the whole purpose for you to split it up is to make you separate, to make you spend twice. Logically, right? And yes, they don't lie about having enough manpower to support Tower of Fantasy Classic and Reboot, as long as you remember that according to Gatti-O, they train new employees by letting them mess around in Tower of Fantasy, which led to Tower of Fantasy decline in the first place, both in CN and global. Wait, what? They train new employees by letting them mess around in Tower of Fantasy. What do you mean by mess around in Tower of Fantasy? It's funny that the global community buys into that promise and is happy as they won and the game is saved. CN is on fire right now, when most upvoted comments all promise to quit or remind Hota they don't trust them anymore, and how Hota will deal with the fact that second version splits small decreasing community even further, as some players are ready to jump ship ahead of eventual maintenance mode. Wait, what? Is that bad? I can't read though. Okay, let's Google Translate some of this. Translate to English. You guys only block people in post forums. I curse a few words in other people's posts and block them directly without posting anything. That's fine. Neko God. Wow. I'm sorry, but I still laughed when I saw CH promise. The last promise, the smart servant will be released for free and will not be paid for. After reading the news, the official attitude is very clear. Hoarding Rat is very disappointed. The old thing can no longer board the new journey. I took screenshots of the resources and quit the game. Backtrack, die. Fantasy Tower shut down the server. Perfect, closed down. Today we mourn the abandonment of former wear. Tomorrow we'll make Fantasy Tower officials pay the price. Official server players will not allow infringement of player rights and be the best warriors. Our united players, server-wide outrage, and common enemy make us more united. The shameless Fantasy Tower production team must take action against the shameful betrayal of players. Sonic Bunny usage. Wow. Your retroactive server is like the players waiting for you to get better in front of the hospital bed. You suddenly told everyone that you were going to remake to spend time with your family in the next life. I don't think the old official server players who have persisted in playing this game until now can still believe the nonsense you plan. To sum up the whole article, it means that they have given up on the official server. What? So the 10 years is a lie? Wait, what? The 10 years is supposed to calm them down, but they don't seem calm down at all. They're even more on fire. Bilibili is on fire, man. But yeah, I don't know what's happening, man. They let down their players so many times. It seems like people are, you know. I feel like, I don't know, the revenue is not that bad though, right? Our fantasy revenue is pretty decent. It's not top, but it's like, it's decent. It's alright, you know. It's okay. I agree with CN on this one. Global should not fall so easily for this kind of promises. Go EOS with zero revenue. It's okay, everyone knows that you have a raging hate boner. For Tower of Fantasy to make a dedicated account to Doom post it. Some Google translated misinformation comments you found online don't make the whole story. Stop Doom posting on the internet and go touch grass. Wow. You are cocklot who make the second account to spam gacha gaming with Tower of Fantasy posts, hoping Sticks makes YouTube video of it, spamming Esmond Gold Reddit. So he react to Tower of Fantasy trailers and upload. Huh? Stop shilling for shit game and touch grass. I don't hate the game. I've over 2,000 hours in Tower of Fantasy. 2,000 hours. Wait, how many? 2,000 hours? 2,000 divided by 24 hours. 83 days. He played 83 days. He played for 2 and 7. He played for 2 months non-stop. If he never sleep, of course. That's a lot. That's not me, I swear. That's you. That's you. 2,000 hours though, congrats. I love my crew. I absolutely love gameplay. Okay? Both almost an infinite uptime, hyper body, pre-buffing into whole attack, brain dead gameplay. It all make combat into game combat shallow. I like Tower of Fantasy's the ability to use the items, right? You can use the jetpack, and then you can use the shield, the grapple. A lot of those things are quite fun actually. Those things are actually really fun. To be able to move around. I quit Genshin, never look back because I love my first one in Tower of Fantasy that much. I hate the direction it takes. I was vocal about it and it's the only chance to get things changed. Good or not, reboot server changes, I was mostly correct with my warnings. It all gets changed as Hota admitted. It was giving worse experience to players, but only on new server. But yeah, Tower of Fantasy, you know, we'll see. We'll see 10 years, is it true or not? Because a lot of time I always, when game companies promise things like that, it's usually they usually have ulterior motive, right? It's more like something happened and they try to make an announcement. So it's not really a promise, it's more like to reassure players. The statement, this particular the entire statement that they say 10 years and stuff, it feels more like to calm players down than to actually promise anything. But again, I could be wrong. We'll have to see. Will they actually last 10 years? We'll have to see for sure.